This conference will now be recorded.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Andrew Cole with East Orlando Chamber of Commerce, and we're looking forward to another round of Chris Proddy today, who is speaking on optimizing your YouTube and your video presence on social media and on the web. So without further ado, Chris, go ahead and give them your introduction. I'm going to let you go, but to just do a couple other pleasantries real quick. I'm sorry, I'm jumping on it. I miss my notes here always. But we'll take chats and questions, and we'll do a Q&A at the end. But I do, at one more time, I want to recognize our East Orlando Chamber trustees. We have Avalon Park Group. We have Avalon Insurance Services. We have Advent Health. We have Great Florida Insurance of Hunters Creek, Fairwinds Credit Union, Duke Energy. We have the Suburban Land Reserve, Orlando Health, and the Orlando Law Group. So I want to say thank you to those folks. The trustees help us with everything that we do here. They are stakeholders in our community for the East Orlando Chamber. And once again, Chris Proddy, I'm going to hand it off to you. Do a great job here. This is, I think, our third series. So without doing further ado, tell everybody about yourself once again, and we'll do Q&A later. Talk to you soon.
Thanks so much. And before I jump into any of that, this is the third. You're right. This is the third in the series that we're doing, and I haven't done these kind of presentations for any other group, and I'll tell you why. The East Orlando Chamber has been one of the most instrumental things in growing my business, especially here in Central Florida. And I kind of reserve these kind of presentations just for the EOCC. So, for the people who are on, and for for you that are watching this, if you're a member, you understand the value. If you're not a member, Andrew and Dorothy, who's also on the call, are the perfect people to be talking to about this. I can't say enough good things about the EOCC, and it is an absolute honor to be invited back to do this. I promised in all of the promotion for this that I was going to come out of the corner swinging. One of the biggest problems that people have when they attend webinars is that there's a lot of framing and a lot of build up to not a lot of content. And I've done webinars like that, so guilty for that. But in this webinar, the last one that I did, the previous to that, and now this one, I am going to be teaching this to you in the same way that I would teach it to anyone who is a student of mine, because I run a course that helps business owners learn to get more clients by I teach them how to do SEO. I also do group coaching. So I'm teaching this to you in the same exact way that I would teach this to one of my students or one of my group coaching participants, people who are in my mastermind. So you're getting exactly what they get, and I'm very happy to be able to give that to you. The chat, I have the chat open. I'll try to glance at that every once in a while, but generally towards the end of this, I'll bring eyes down to that and I'll start answering some questions. So today we're going to be talking about getting your videos to show up in YouTube search, and also getting your videos to show up in Google search. So YouTube search and Google search, we're going to talk about each of those, similarities and differences, and things that you can do to show up in each. I'm going to show you some examples of where I've done it, show you how it works. I'm going to show you how to shoot your videos and the equipment you should be using if you're looking to do it on a budget. I'm going to show you how to optimize those videos, how to upload them, and then what you should do after they've been uploaded. So sit down, hang on, and we're going to get really detailed starting right now. My name is Chris, and I help business owners get more clients by teaching them and coaching them on how to do their own search engine optimization as well as their own content creation. And that's what I do. I have an 8-week course that gets people to be as absolutely smart as I am, maybe at the end, and also twice a week coaching that I give these people as well, where they can ask me questions and get some guidance. And I absolutely love what I do. I've been doing this for 19 years. And it is really the thing that I was put on this earth to do, and I realized that a long time ago. And so that's why I continue to do it, and that's why I absolutely love it. I can't wait to wake up every day and do this. There are people out there in the world that I've worked with that have very nice things to say about me. I could bore you with slide and after slide about this, but you can just read one or two of these. My favorite, I think, is the last one: "Smart, smart, smart. I'm in awe." And that was one of my favorite comments to get. You know, people recognize the value that I can bring to them. But today we are here to talk about videos and how you can use videos in search and how you can use them to drive more customers for yourself. So I'm going to show you a winning formula for coming up with ideas for videos so that you're not ever sitting there going, I'd love to create videos, I just don't know what to do. We're going to talk about how you can shoot your video on a budget and getting ready to post your video. It's not as simple as just shooting your video and uploading it to YouTube. That's really the old way of doing things. I'm going to show you a new way of doing it that is going to help you get more visibility. And also, we'll talk about a tested formula for video ranking. And when I say the word ranking, I mean getting your video to show up where people are searching. And then finally, all of the things that you can do once your video has been posted, because there's a lot of things that happen after the video has been posted that you want to do to make sure that that video gets seen. But before we talk about any of that, especially if you were here last week, this will be a little bit of review. If you were here, our last presentation was on client attraction through social media. This week, in talking about YouTube, we have to start with the same foundation. So for anybody that wasn't here, I'm going to go through this. I might go through it quicker than I did last time, but it's important to think about systems. As a system thinker, you think about the entire ethos of what it is that you're trying to achieve, and that spans everything from your website to your content to your social media to your videos to the way that you interact with people online to what you like and to what you respond to. It's all part of a very big system. People who are system thinkers realize that every component within that system builds up to the bigger system. And that bigger system is a collection or sum of all of the smaller components. And for you to be successful at doing anything online, you need to transition from being an isolated thinker, thinking about just one thing, like I'm going to make a video and upload it, to being a systems thinker, and you're thinking about your entire marketing strategy or your entire marketing system. Okay, so we need to think about systems when we're thinking about this. And there are some great examples of systems in nature that we can go through. And one of them is the universe. The universe is a system that is made up of smaller components that all come together in this one organized and identifiable thing. And part of the universe is our solar system, which is also a system. It is the sun and it is the planets, and it has a predictable nature to it. And there are other and many solar systems that make up the universe. Part of our solar system is a system that exists between the Earth and the moon. And the moon revolves around the Earth and the Earth spins, and both of them in conjunction move around the sun. So that is a smaller component of the larger system, which is the solar system. And then we have our Earth, and our Earth is made up of systems like ecosystems and weather systems and all of the planetary things, all of the planetary systems that make up our particular planet, which is our Earth. And our Earth moves upward into all of the systems above it, and then is comprised of all of the systems below it. We as humans create a system on the Earth. So we, as a human race, are a system. And then within that system, we have economic systems, and we have groups and gangs and collections of people that are identified together. And these are all systems. We have monetary systems that we rely on. We have social systems that we rely on. So all of these systems exist within us as humans. And you can see that that's zooming in. And as we get even further in, we have the individual, or the person, who is part of the human race system. And the person is made up, the human is made up of systems as well. You have a cardiovascular system and a respiratory system. And you have all of these systems that work together to make you. And we could even go further into this and get down to the molecular and the atomic and the subatomic level. And all of these things are also systems. And what's fascinating to me is when we get down to the atomic and subatomic level, even at the quantum level, things start to look and replicate like the biggest system or the universe in how they manifest and how they all work together. So these are examples of systems in nature, and it's really important for you to understand that and become a systems thinker when we're thinking about marketing. And digital marketing as a whole is one large system that is made up of multiple smaller systems like organic attraction and paid attraction, email and messaging attraction, and then the process of retargeting, which is another component of digital marketing. So digital marketing is the large system, and then these are 4 examples of systems within the digital marketing system. Today, we're focusing on a subsystem of organic attraction. And inside of organic attraction, we have search engine optimization, we have content creation, we have external efforts through organic attraction, and we have online groups that we could be a part of and attract prospects to our business through those groups. So in the larger system of organic attraction, we have these 4 examples of subsystems. Today, we're going to be zooming in on the content subsystem. And let's get real detailed with this. And I'm just going to pause for 1 second so I can minimize my GoToMeeting window. I'm just going to hit escape here, and that will allow me to do this, which lets me see my full screen because there's going to be stuff I want to read. So here are examples in the content. We have your website. We have the pages on your website, the dynamic pages or the blog pages on your website, and then we have social media. And those are all systems within the content system. And today we're going to be zooming in on social media, which is YouTube and videos. And the subsystems within social media is research and coming up with content ideas that resonate and stimulate your audience, posting into the social media system, and then collecting feedback. And today we're zooming in even further on the system of posting. And that's where we answer questions, or we demonstrate proof, or we create video content, or we sometimes share personal things about ourselves on our social media to help our clients get to know us as humans. Well, today we're zooming in on video content, and we're going to be talking about topic selection, content creation, content optimization, and social sharing. The point of showing this all to you and relating it back to the systems in nature is that we are not working in an isolated environment when we do this. We need to be thinking outside of that isolated environment. And so many new marketers think just about one component, and they don't relate everything together. And you can see, when you talk to people, or you talk to other firms that don't quite get the macro and the micro and how they all relate together. It's super, super important to be thinking about this, because what you do in one place affects what you do in all places. Much like the subatomic levels in the human, subatomic particles in the human actually relate all the way up to the universe, as demonstrated a few slides ago. I showed this last week. I'm going to breeze through it again. This is how all things work. And this is something that my mentor taught to me, and this is like the first thing I think about every day. This is a degrading logarithmic graph showing decay over time. And this actually, on an XY axis where Y represents your memory and X represents time, this represents your memory. This is how you remember things. On the left side of this, you're going to have a very easy time remembering what you had for lunch today. Move towards the right, and there's decay in your memory, and this is true of all humans. It would be very hard to remember what you had for lunch on Thursday, in January. The third Thursday in January, probably very hard to remember that. So you do forget things over time, and that your memory does. We all do. And this is true of the efforts that you do in social media or in marketing or in anything that you do. Your memory for what you do is going to degrade or decay over time. And that's why this decaying or degrading logarithmic graph makes a lot of sense. But here's an exponential graph on an XY axis. And over on the left, if this represents your effort or the effects of your effort, over on the left, when you start doing something, the effects just aren't there straight away. They're not there at the very beginning. And it takes a long time before you start to see those compounding effects of your effort. And what's interesting is you'll get to a point over time where those effects, the compounding effects of that effort, just increases more and more and more and more. But here's the problem, and I see this over and over again with entrepreneurs, is that most entrepreneurs, most people quit right here. They quit because their memory has failed them, and they've forgotten about all of the efforts that they put in early on, and they don't remember why they started in the first place, and they quit before the effects of their efforts really start to compound. And so our advantage is in understanding this is if we just keep going with consistency, the effects of our, even when our memory is failing us, why did I start this? Why am I doing this? Why am I making these YouTube videos? Why do I have to do all this writing? Why do I have to research what topics agitate my audience? When you forget all of that, it's important to keep going because the effects of those efforts change right after the point where most people quit. Use that to your advantage. It's why your competition will fail and why you will succeed as long as you keep going. Okay, wow, that was like, is your face melting right now? Because that is just like, that is so much high level information, but I need you to think at about the same level that I'm thinking when I think about this. And I want you to be that system thinker, and I want you to be that driving force behind your marketing. This is the reason I teach people to do what I do, because I love seeing people go out and do this and then come back to me and say, hey, look, I did it, and look, it's working. That to me is better than me doing it and having it working. So today we're talking about video optimization, and I am going to tell you the only three things that matter. Through all of this, these are the only three things that matter. And I'm actually just going to bring them all up right now so that I don't blast past them. Because what I want you to do is take a screenshot of this and print it out and hang it up when you're thinking about, when you're doing your videos, have this up, because these are really the only things that matter. And that is that you're going to create video content that people want to watch. It does not matter if you create video content and nobody wants to watch it. You're not agitating your audience or exciting your audience enough to watch your content. So your content is super important here, because you want to create the content that attracts your prospects or the people who you want to watch your videos to be watching your videos. And you know through feedback very quickly if you're doing that. If you create content that no one's watching, you need to revisit your research and see why, and take a look at the things that you should be doing videos about that elicit that response from your audience. Number two is ranking your videos and getting your videos to show up in search depends much more than on just the video. There are lots of aspects that go into getting a video to show up in search, and I'm going to show you, I don't have time to show you all of them. It would take me a week, but I can show you as much as I can show you today. I'll give you the 20% in the Pareto principle that will at least get you there. And as we saw in How All Things Work, consistent effort over time amplifies results. And that is something, that should be like when you wake up in the morning, that should be like the first thing that pops into your head. Not me saying it. I mean, I guess you could, but you'd probably head for the hills at that point. But consistent effort over time amplifies results. You just have to remember that. That should probably be number one here, because that should be the only one thing you have to remember. Consistent effort over time amplifies results. Take a screenshot of that, print it out, and keep that nearby, because these are really the only three things that matter when you're looking to work on your videos. What I'm going to teach you now is vastly different from the old way that people have worked with video on YouTube. The old way of doing things was actually very simple, and that's the reason most people do it. That's the reason it's the old way. People are still doing it, which is shoot a video, upload a video, take all of the defaults from YouTube when you're uploading it, and cross your fingers and hope. I can't work on a hope. My students don't. I don't teach them on how to hope. So it's the old way. This next level approach that I'm going to show you looks at every single detail around your video. Wait till you see how close we zoom in, or how deeply we zoom in to some of the details. So let's get to that. Here's why you should care about ranking your videos in YouTube and Google search. YouTube is the #2 search engine behind Google search, right? So you should know that by now. If you don't know that, now you do. YouTube is the #2 search engine and daily gets more searches than Yahoo, Bing, and I don't know, one of the other ones. Whatever the 2, 3, or whatever 3, 4, and 5 are, YouTube gets more searches per day than all three of those combined. So it is a huge search engine, and it is our responsibility to help our prospects and our clients find our stuff on YouTube. That says LinkedIn has 1.9 billion users. That might be true, but it's let me just change that really quick. That should say YouTube. I was in a LinkedIn kind of mind when I was writing this. YouTube, and I'll go back to play. YouTube has 1.9 billion users every month. That's a lot of users. I mean, you know, how many customers do you need this month to be profitable? You know, you've got to find them in that 1.9 billion, and I'm going to show you how to thin that herd. If you were with me 2 weeks ago, we learned that about 3% of the people that you're presenting to are actually going to be interested in what you do for a business or a service. So I'm going to show you how to elicit that response from that 3%. There is something called, I'm going to get technical on you here, forgive me. There is something called Google's ranking diversity. And ranking in YouTube or ranking a video helps with ranking diversity. Here's what ranking diversity means. But the old way of doing things in the old Google algorithm, you used to be able to get 6 or 7 rankings on the first page of Google for one website. And I used to do this all the time for my clients. We would get like 6 or 7, you know, positions 1 through 6 or 1 through 8 with a couple of competitors sprinkled in there. But you could really dominate the first page of Google with your content. And that was just a year ago. Now with ranking diversity, Google is making an effort to show a more diverse set of search results on the first page and actually on all pages. So the official word from Google is that you could possibly get 2 spots in first page ranking, possibly. And I see it, I do see those 2 spots happen quite a bit. More often it's just 1. So if someone's searching for what you do, let's say they're searching for Orlando lawyer, and you used to show up like 3 or 4 times, you're probably only going to show up once now. And that's what ranking diversity means. It's giving you diverse results within Google's within the search results. So how YouTube helps is YouTube is a different property, a web property than your own website. So if you can rank a video and have that video show up in Google search results, now you can claim more than 1 spot on that first page. It's totally legit. There's nothing unethical about that because it's a YouTube result instead of your website result, but it's still you and it's still your content. And then you can use that video to direct people to your website or to your offer or to to whatever conversion point you want. And the last point is that 51% of all Google searches result in a YouTube video. So more than half. In 2019, more than half of all Google searches had a YouTube video in the search results, and that's a big, wide open surprise mouth emoji at the end there. Very surprising, but awesome. This is what's awesome for you. And as we go through 2020 and into 2021, we're going to see that number increase. So what I'm going to show you works, and here are some examples of where it works. I have to kind of obfuscate or block out some of this stuff that I'm showing you. Some of the things in the results. So I kind of black out the search fields. My competition, they're a very weird group. My competition, they like to mess with me. And so if I show you like the real search phrases that I'm targeting, then they're gonna go after them, and they're gonna just try to mess with me a little bit. So I just try to prevent that. But this is a client of mine that sells a really cool golf club, a putter. And that putter is unique, and he was the first one to come to market with this. The putter stands on its own, and you can put that putter down and position it and step away from it and look. It's completely within the PGA rules. And so what we did is he had a bunch of videos, and they weren't optimized. So we started optimizing these videos. And what we found through optimization is that for the most profitable key phrases on the left, he can claim all 3 video spots, which is amazing, right? And he gets positions 1 and 2 organic. So there are 5 chances for a prospect to click on his content. This is in Google search. This is not, and you see the little icon there, and this is just from yesterday. I think the search was yesterday. So, and some of these videos are years old. So you can see it's important to get your videos to show up in Google search because more than half of the results are going to show a video. And so you can see on the left, he's got 5 positions. I mean, a drunk child could click and end up on one of his web properties. On the right, we see a different search for another phrase, and you can see some of his competition is showing up. in the videos, and then one of his competitors is showing up ranking #1 organic, but still the very first thing you see is his video. So that sends a lot of traffic his way, and consequently the potential to close a lot more sales, because especially on the left, you see how we can evade ranking diversity by having 5 positions on Google, where if you didn't have any videos, you'd only have first 2 organic. Here's an example from me. This is I love this example so much. I was talking about this on the pre-call. This is a video that I made about a year ago on how to spot fake LinkedIn profiles. For those who this might be your first experience with me, I apologize. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I coach and teach people how to use LinkedIn for client attraction. And one of the biggest problems that LinkedIn has is fake LinkedIn profiles. And so I created a video on how to spot fake LinkedIn profiles. It currently ranks #1 for the phrase fake LinkedIn profiles. Go ahead, competition, try to unseat me. My spot at the top won't be vacant there. And what's interesting about this is I get comments on this, and I get communications from this through YouTube. But on the left, we can see a message that I got from a dude on LinkedIn. So this guy found my video, watched my video, and then reached out to me on LinkedIn. Don't squint. I'll show you the text in just a moment. But he reached out to me on LinkedIn. Actually, I'll bring it over here. So this is the message I received. Guys, this is on Monday of this week. This is 48 hours ago. I got this message, and I wrote back to him right away. He sent this to me through LinkedIn chat, and I wrote back to him right away. And Monday night we had a video conference, a Skype, and he turned into a client for this week. So to demonstrate that this stuff works, it's not just what I do for my clients, it's what I do for myself, and that's important to know. So I mean, this stuff does work. This is the guy's message, just copied, and I took his name and stuff. I don't need people bothering him through LinkedIn. So that is a super cool example of something that just happened within the past 48 hours, and I generated new business, a new client, and new money from it. And I'm able to help somebody out, which is really cool. So here's how you come up with ideas for your videos. I'm gonna keep an eye on the time. I don't even know what time it is. Let's go. Is it really? Yeah, it is. Let's go. Here's how you come up with ideas for your videos. You look at other videos, especially those through influencers or other videos in your domain. Look at what their titles are, look at what their video content is about, and then try to put your own spin on it. Just don't copy, right? Don't copy other videos, like for like. Just try to make them unique into yourself. You could also, in your industry, look at blogs, articles, or current events, and you can make videos about those. Combine those two. Look at what influencers are doing, and then look at blogs, articles, and current events, and see, where that Venn diagram overlaps. That's a nice sweet spot for you to be creating your videos. And then one of the greatest things that you can do is just figure out what questions your clients are asking about what you do, and answer those questions in videos. I was talking to an entrepreneur this week who is creating some guides for his clients. And he's like, do you think I should just make these into videos? 1, 2, or 3 minute videos? Absolutely. These are the questions that your clients are asking. Most people would rather be taught visually than have to read something. So take them through it on a video. So that's the winning formula for coming up with ideas. Screen capture that, or just jot that down. Follow those 3, and you're going to come up with content that people want. Right? If you have content that people don't want, you'll know, because nobody's going to engage with it, or it's not going to agitate their need. You have to figure out the content that people want. It doesn't take a lot of effort to figure out the content that people want. Do this research, and then take the feedback and iterate until you get the response that you're looking for. Like that dude that wrote to me. I mean, that's a really great example of content that people want, that agitates them enough to actually reach out. And then I converted him into a client. If you have to shoot video on a budget, there are times where you don't have the money to hire a videographer. Understandable. If you're going to shoot on a budget, so above all else, you've got to get great audio. I put this first because it is the most important thing, is getting great audio. This is the microphone I use when I'm shooting. I'm just gonna hold this up. I got this on Amazon for like 30 or 40 bucks. It has, this connection goes right into my iPhone, so this is designed for an iPhone, but you can get these for Android as well. This goes right into the iPhone, and the cable is 6 feet long. It has a lapel clip. Just pop that right on, get it to work. and then pop it into your phone. The difference, there have been studies on this that good audio will engage and keep people watching your video. So figure out a budget mic, go on Amazon, drop me a note or schedule a 15-minute with me to talk about it, and I can make some recommendations for you. But this is just a little mic that clips on your lapel like that, and then this just plugs right into the iPhone, and it is used as the microphone for the iPhone. So I could have my iPhone, 6 feet away from me, and I'm still talking, and the audio comes through crisp and clear. So you definitely want to do that. That's the number one thing that I want you to think about. And also clean up your background. So your real background, by the way. I know it's hilarious and it's fun on these Zoom calls to change your background to the beach. We know you're not at the beach. Don't do that on the videos that you're pushing out to people. It looks disingenuous. It doesn't look authentic. And people tend to focus more on the picture in the background than they do on you. So clean up your background, have it neat, and just really focus on just presenting a nice environment for the person to watch that isn't going to be distracting. Sometimes I'm sitting in my office right now, but sometimes I stand in a position where you can see more of my office, and I get people writing to me asking me for interior design tips. They're like, "Oh, your office is really clean and neat. Where did you get that furniture?" So just clean it up. Don't have it sloppy. Don't have clothes in the background. Just keep it neat and don't non-distracting. Getting the right lighting is super, super important. And you can buy lighting rigs, or you can buy these ring lights that you put here, and those are great. Definitely do that. I just like to have natural light coming through a window. If it's nighttime and you're shooting, then you definitely need some kind of a light. Maybe do one on each side coming in at a 45-degree angle, or one ring light, which you can get short money on Amazon as well. But you really do want to be nicely illuminated in your videos. I also recommend using a tripod to stabilize your phone if you're using your phone, and most people will be shooting these with their phone. Shaky video is going to nauseate people, and it's going to turn them off straight away. The rule of thirds, you should have heard about the rule of thirds. I don't have time to teach the whole thing right now, but essentially you're going to take your screen and divide it into thirds in each direction. You kind of want to place yourself, or your subject over on one of those thirds most of the time. If you want to keep it interesting, you can go dead center, and that's going to command a little bit of attention. But to keep it visually interesting, or if you want to superimpose some graphics, just go over to one of those thirds. Shoot in wide instead of tall. 90% of people are shooting in tall, and then when you upload that to YouTube, that tall video looks very skinny in the YouTube window. And so that is very off-putting to people. So turn that phone and shoot in wide. Be natural while you're talking. Just kind of be yourself. Pretend like you're talking to one person sitting across the table. Very simple. Don't try to overact or it was one of the problems that I had when I first started doing videos. And a friend of mine, was watching one of my videos, and he was like, "That's just not you. How you're talking there. How I'm talking to you now is me. That's how I am." And I was a lot more like so subtle and subdued in this video. And they're like, "That's just not you. You got to be yourself." So be natural. And simplicity is always going to win. Don't try to do anything crazy or unusual. I do recommend taking risks when you do videos. If you've seen some of my videos, sometimes I shoot them through my doorbell cam because it's interesting and it's a little bit of a risk. Sometimes I put the camera in my refrigerator, open my refrigerator and start talking. That's, edgy, but not really that risky. But just try to keep things super simple. And the last suggestion that I'll make is that intro. If you're thinking about doing an intro, stop thinking about doing an intro, like one of these graphical moving intros. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it and just start thinking about creating better content. Your intro, people are going to watch your video and they're going to go away from it if they don't get some sort of payoff within the first 3 to 5, maybe even 8 seconds. If your intro is more than 5 seconds, people are clicking away more often than not. So here's these long intros that I see people making that are a minute or a minute and a half long. You're losing people by 8 seconds and no one's watching them. I know you like them because it's your brand and it's kind of neat and all of that, but you're not thinking about the user when you do that. So get rid of those long intros. If you see any of, you'll rarely see any of my intros because I just stopped using them. But when we should look at one of my videos in just a little bit, one of my intros in there, it's like 3 seconds long. And I don't even have it at the very beginning of the video. I'll show you that. When you get ready to post your video, I want you to write an informative description. The 1,100 rule, I'm gonna take a quick sip, hold on. The 1,100 rule is in YouTube descriptions, you can have 1,000 characters of description. I often will, for certain videos, I'll try to get close to that. I'll try to write, 500 to 800 words, sometimes characters, sometimes 1,000 characters. But people are only going to see the first 100 characters before they have to click read more. So you need your call to action in the first 100 characters of your description. You want to write an informative description because the algorithm for YouTube is very similar to the Google algorithm in that it's reading text as well, and you're making it very easy for Google to rank your video if you have a very informative description. You need to figure out what key phrases you're going after. We've covered key phrase research in other webinars. You can schedule a meeting with me if you need to learn that one-on-one. But you rename your video, the actual video file with your target key phrase. And then you edit I'm going to show you how to do this, by the way, in just a minute. You edit the video metadata to include those key phrases. And you spend good time on your video title. We talked about this in both of the other webinars, where your title is the thing that people are going to see the most, so you need to spend most of your time on it. So you'll recall we talked about the co-schedule headline analyzer, so jot that down. Co-schedule, one word, and headline analyzer, just pop that into Google. That will give you a rating, a grade on your title and how attractive that is. So spend some time on your title, because your title is what's going to elicit the response from your crowd and get them to come in and watch your video. Most people like to put a custom thumbnail. I'm one of those people. It's eye-catching. You just try to do something that's a little bit different from what everybody else is doing so you can break through the noise. And when you're uploading your video, select a category that is very similar to other people who create videos like yours, because you want to be grouped in that category. You know how when you're watching a video over on the right side, there are some suggested videos? You want to show up in those. And if you follow those rules, right, if you follow 1 through 6 here, you're going to show up in those suggested videos, because you're giving YouTube, ultimately the Google algorithm, enough information to put you over there. So you've got to do all of these things to help persuade Google to thinking that your video is seductive enough to put it over there with the other suggested videos. Your video should be at least 2 minutes in length. As much as 10 minutes is good. So when you're recording, think about that. Try to go for 2 minutes. And make sure your audio sounds good. If you check both of those things, you're ready to upload. However, upload is private first, and we'll talk about that when we actually do the example, which actually might be right now. Is that what I'm going to do? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill this, and I'm going to hop over here. So this is my YouTube. This is my personal YouTube. I don't really have a lot of videos uploaded here. But this is my personal one, so I'm going to upload a video right now. So let's go through the steps. I have a video right here, which is a video I made on creating UTM codes. These are tracking codes for URLs. And this is just a quick informative video that I made for a client. And what I did, so I've got that video here as an MP4 here on my desktop. And can you see my desktop, Andrew?
Yes, we can.
You can, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got the video here. I took a screenshot right here. This is a screenshot from, let me just open that up. There's a screenshot. Oh my God, look at that. Oh yeah. Anyway, that's just a quick screenshot from the video that I'm going to use to make the thumbnail. Okay. So on my desktop here, I've got the video, and then I've got this. Now, what I did is I went and I wrote, let's go over to Pages. I went ahead and I wrote my description here in Pages. I'll show you why I did that in a second. So here's my description. I did some key phrase research. These are like in the top 5 phrases that people search for when they're searching for UTM codes. So I did some key phrase research. I put those here. By the way, you can't guess at what these are. You've got to do the research. We covered that in previous webinars. So I've got my UTM code, Google Analytics, and create UTM code. These are my key phrases. And then I wrote, this is probably 950 characters of content. We're going to check that in just a second. And then I created this title. So here's my title: How to Create UTM Codes That Track Link Performance in Google Analytics. Look at how subtle this is. UTM code right here. Google doesn't differentiate between singular and plural. So UTM code right there. Google Analytics right here in my title. Create UTM codes right here in my title. So I'm hitting all 3 of these key phrases right in my title. Then my intro, my first 100 characters. What are UTM codes and why is it important to create UTM codes for tracking Google Analytics? I mean, that really says it all. I'm just trying to hit the algorithm as many times as possible with these key phrases to get that ranking, and then I've got this. So let's go ahead and just take this and just do a quick check on this. I'm going to copy it, and let me just make sure that that got copied like that. And now we're going to head over to Safari, which is right here. Remember word counter. This is my favorite free tool. I just paste it in here. It's 922 characters, so that's great. I'm in a good position. My reading level as a college student, that's anybody who's going to be reading or looking at this content is probably college educated. So I treat this like a small blog post, okay? And so I've got my 1,000 character limit is fine, and I'm ready to go. So that looks good. So now I've got my description and my keywords. Now I want to make a thumbnail. Stencil is my favorite tool for doing these kind of things. This is a very inexpensive tool, getstencil.com, and I'm already logged in. And I'm going to go right down here, and I'm going to select YouTube thumbnail, and that's going to set the perfect size for my YouTube thumbnail. And then I already uploaded. Let's see, I'll go to my uploads. I've already uploaded that image. It's right here. Pop it in, set it as the background. And now I can add some text to this. How to create UTM codes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, on this. You get to do your own graphic design. I just want to make sure this fits. That's a terrible font. So I'm going to change that font. So I'm just going to pop that right there. Select it all. Let's just choose a better font real quick. I am really just I'm a simple man. I am such a simple man. Just give me a nice simple font like Helvetica or something like that. Whatever. I'll just use this. It doesn't matter. All right. I'm going to position that here. I'm going to throw my logo in there just for a little bit of branding. I've already uploaded my logo, so I'll pop that right down here. We need the logo to be bigger, Chris. Okay, whatever. I would probably spend a little bit more time on this, but in the interest of our time together today, I'm just doing it really quickly. And now I'm just going to download. Now here's the thing. I'm going to name this image. Remember, the algorithm sees everything. I'm going to name this image creating UTM codes because that's one of my search phrases. Okay, so I just named it one of my search phrases because Google sees everything, or YouTube sees everything. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So now I'm downloading this. And now we go over to my video, which is right here. I have it as UTM example. I'm going to change that to, watch this. I'm changing the name of the video. Create UTM codes for Google Analytics. Look at that. I just named the name of the video has my key phrases in it. Now I'm going to right click on the video. You following along? I know I'm going fast. I know I'm going fast. I want to be sensitive to your time. Right click, get info. I'm working in a Mac. And now I've got my comments right here. In my comments, I'm actually going to put these comments like create. Well, you know what I can do just to make this easier? Let me just hop over to pages and I'm just going to grab these key phrases. I'm going to copy them and go back over here and paste them. And so now in the meta information for the video file itself, I've got my key phrases. This is blowing your mind. Okay, so now we've got that. So now that's in there. So now I've completely optimized my video. And so now let's go over and let's upload this thing to YouTube. So I'm going to click create, upload video. This video, by the way, did somebody jump in or no? We okay? All right. This video is super short to save on the upload time. So let's just go here and here I'm uploading the video. I truncated the video just to keep it super short. And now I'm going to go over to pages and I'm going to grab my title, which is right here. copy, head back over here. So there's my title. Here's my description. That's this, copy, paste. It's processing my video right now. I'm gonna go down here to, I could put it in a playlist, that might help. It's not made for kids. I'm gonna go here to more options and tags. YouTube is gonna tell you that tags are not that important. They're telling you that because people abuse tags, but they are important. I have lots and lots of testing to prove that. Create UTM codes, Google Analytics, UTM codes. All right, so now I've got those in there. Now I click next. Video elements, I could add an end screen which would link to other videos. That's cool. We don't have time to show you that now. I apologize. Save or publish, I'm gonna make it private. I don't want this thing to be public yet, so I'm uploading it as private. Save. And now I'm going to go and edit this video in the details. And let's give it a thumbnail. Here. So now I've got that thumbnail saved. And let me just jump back up here. It's still private. So I'm going to leave this thing in this current state until I'm absolutely positive that I'm ready to publish this thing. And here's how you know when you're ready. Let's hop over to Keynote and let's go back. So that's the whole process. That's the whole process of creating a video and getting it ready for ranking. And so once you're ready to post the video, the algorithm is going to watch the video's engagement over the first 24 hours. So you don't want to post it and then go to bed and wake up the next day and say, oh, I think I'll share this thing. You want to post it and you want to get as many eyes on that video as possible, okay? So that's the first 24 hours because the algorithm wants to see how many views you get in the first 24 hours. So share it on social media. Email it out to your list, embed the video in a blog post on your website. I would already have that written, and then you just put the embed code in there. Ask friends, ask colleagues, ask clients to view and share your video. You could reach out to content editors on non-competitive authoritative blogs, ask them to share your video, and link your video in comments to people on social media, especially if you're answering questions that your prospects have. Oh, I created a video. You're asking about UTM codes? I created a video on that exact topic. Here's a link to the video. What you want to do is you want to get as many people clicking and going to that video as possible, especially in the first 24 hours, because the algorithm is going to see that. And then seriously, guys, just keep going. Don't stop. Just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and be consistent over time. Then collect feedback. See how many views you've got, see what your interaction is like, look at thumbs up and thumbs down, analyze the data, make sure the content elicits a response with your audience, iterate the output, and repeat the process. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. It's 2:50. We have 10 minutes for questions. I'm happy to go over. I can't even believe I covered that in 50 minutes. This screen right now is like the prize for hanging with me through all of this. I am offering to anybody on this call a 15-minute quick chat where you could do a tune-up or ask me a question or two or three and get some answers. A full 45-minute strategy session is where you come on and we look at where you are, we look at where you want to be, and we build the bridge to get you there. If this kind of stuff resonates with you, schedule a meeting and talk to me about my training program, because this is literally like just the smallest component of this. Is like almost an exact training from the program, but this is like one day over the whole 8 weeks. We do this for everything, for the content on your website, for your social media, for optimizing everything on your website. This is just a drop in that bucket. So if you're an iPhone user, turn on your camera, point it at that UTM code, and it's going to bring up my schedule link, and grab 15 minutes or 45 minutes with me. no charge, and we can either just do a quick tune-up, or we can build the bridge from where you are to where you want to be over 45 minutes. And there might be people on this call that have had those 40. Jonathan, you're on this call. You had one of those calls with me recently, and I think your response was, you didn't tell me what I was hoping to learn. You told me what I needed to learn, which was a great comment. So 9twice.com/schedule gets you there. UTM code gets you there. I am going to minimize this so that I can bring up the chat. See if I can even do that.
Yep, we got a couple questions here, Chris. We've got one. Once again, where do you search for the keywords? What's the best method to find your keywords when you're looking for that?
Yeah, so we covered that in depth in a previous webinar, but what I like to do is I like to go to Google. Here, I'll just do it for you right now. I like to go to Google, and so let's say we were making a video on UTM codes. I just start typing UTM code here, and I start to look for things here like UTM codes in Google Analytics, or UTM code meaning. UTM code is one. UTM codes on Facebook, that's an interesting topic. UTM code best practices. So here are a bunch of different, this is like endless number of topics. If we were writing about one of my favorite topics, which is espresso, best espresso for, and now look at all of these topics. If you have a blog, or you sell espresso, or you sell coffee, you have got a list of topics right here. This is Google's search suggestion tool, and it's available to anyone. You just have to start typing. The reason that these are here, my friends, is because Google wants to make your life easy, and it's going to suggest to you what most people are typing. So if you're looking to create meaningful content, it's right here in front of you. These are the most popular questions. It can be anything, like financial planner. So you're a financial planner. So you could do, here, financial planner Orlando. You could make a video about that, or a definition, or certifications, right? If you wrote a book, you're a financial planner, you wrote a book. Or if you're a financial planner, you could do this. How does a financial planner use math? You know, that's number one right here. So people are asking that question. How does a financial planner get paid? So if, Kyle, you're out there, if you know, these are where you're getting your topics, right here in Google. Now, I will tell you, this is, this just scratches the surface of getting topics. There are some very sophisticated and more advanced ways to get these, but if you're looking for that quick, I got to do a video right now, this is where you go.
So here's one. Can you make the video private and still get the first 24-hour effect when you turn it on or turn it public?
So you make it private, and then when you're ready to get those 24 hours of views, you switch it to public and you save. So I did not specifically state that, but what you do is when you are ready to go, so you've got everybody ready to go, and you know people are going to embed or click or whatever, and you're ready to just send that out, you switch this to public, and then you click save, and now that video is out there.
Does that apply for unlisted as well, Chris?
No, unlisted, no, you don't. Unlisted, the only people who can see unlisted videos are the people who have the link. So you're not going to show up in the Google rankings. You're not going to show up in the YouTube rankings with unlisted. You are off the grid, except for the people that you give the link to. Private, they have to have the link, and they have to log in to YouTube with a username that you specify for them to see that.
All right, I think that's the end of that question. Are there other questions? If you're on the phone, we'll unmute you here. Give me a second. I think we have all the phone folks. Anybody else have questions? Go ahead and send them in the text box or in the chat.
I'm looking at Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie, you are just a dream.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Hold up, my dogs are barking, so I gotta turn it
Oh my God,
off.
leave those things out. Come on.
Hi.
Stephanie wonders if it matters if about having the question just vanished. Oh, there it is. If it doesn't have a lot of view plays. So no, initially the initial conditions are going to be set over the first 24 hours. You're probably going to rank very quickly in those first 24 hours while Google tests or YouTube tests to see what kind of engagement you get. Plays matter over time, and the view time matters over time, which is why you want to front load that in the first 24 hours. So it doesn't matter in the first 24 hours because YouTube is testing it out to see what kind of engagement you're going to get. But after that, yeah, the number of plays is going to matter.
Thank you.
Is there any benefit to the premieres? I'm sorry, Stephanie, go ahead if you got a question.
No, I'm good. I was thanking you for answering that, Chris.
Sure, put that change in that jar. Haiti, I hope I'm pronouncing your name, Haiti. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Can you use a regular phone to record your video, or do you need a professional camera? Use your regular phone. If it's going to get you going, use your regular phone. I don't even have my phone in here with me. I'm so sorry. I use my regular phone for my videos. So any videos that you see, it's my phone on a tripod. That's what I use. My recommendation, if you're going to use your phone, is to use the back camera. So you're going to have to like get a friend to sit where you're going to sit and adjust the camera so that it's proper. But the back camera has a better resolution for you, so you're going to get a better looking video. My intro. Somebody asked to see my intro.
Yeah, that was Brandon.
My intro is super. Let me see if I can. I'll show you here. It's on this video. Let me just open this up and see if I can keep it from playing. Yeah. So my intro is me. I just jump into frame and I start talking because I want to capture people's interest. But here's like somewhere here, after I bring in the video, look at this. I'm already 30 seconds in. I'm already chewing their ear up. Here's my intro. I'll play it for you right here. Let's get to work.
Nice.
That's my intro. That's it. It's
After Effects.
It's just a couple of seconds long. And I got some chick to say 9 twice, whisper 9 twice. I don't know why. I like it. So it's just, it's super simple. And I already introed the whole video myself before I played it. Thank you, Brandon. Steve says, thank you so much. Brilliant information. Thank you, Steve. Did I lose? Are we all still together?
Oh, we're still here.
Okay.
I'm just looking, regular phone, Matter Google, you got that one? Yep, I think we're good there.
Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you to say. Nice to see you here today. And Rosie, thank you. I'm just scrolling through these to see if there's any questions I missed.
Yeah. I think we answered everything from what I see coming in on our end here.
Dean, thank you very much for that lovely comment. Very nice of you.
And we will have this saved on the East Orlando Chamber website, probably now up within the next 24 hours since we've learned a little bit more about video. So if you do want to get a copy of this or replay it, look for that tomorrow within about 24 hours as we get this and try to optimize this for our sakes too. So we'll kind of play with that. But if you do want some more information on this, or better yet, give Chris Proddy, if you want to bring up that screen again with your QR and your contact information for anybody there. Just so if anybody else wants Chris's information, or you can find him on our chamber website, but he is offering that great deal for everybody. But Chris, once again, we want to say thank you very much. And we do have a couple more things coming up this week. We have, if any of you have lost your insurance benefits during this COVID-19 piece, we have 3 experts coming on how you can wade your way through that pieces tomorrow. That'll be at 2 o'clock again here. Go to eocc.org to register for that. And then as I'm reading my notes, your work efficiency and productivity from working at home, working remotely, on how to get the most out of that. I know a bunch of us have been doing that now for quite a few weeks, but there are still tips. We still have kids that are going to be in school, and a lot of places have not been announced opened yet as we get into the recovery of things. But that will be again at 2 o'clock on Friday. So all of these you can find at eocc.org if you'd like to participate with any of the webinars or any of the information. We've got a lot lined up even next week with more. So lots coming up, lots that we're doing to keep information about your business, keep you plugged in, help you if, whatever stage you're at with your business and or where you are personally or professionally trying to get out there. So we do appreciate Chris. Once again, I haven't seen any other questions come through, and without further ado, I'm going to say thank you very much and have a great afternoon, and we will see everybody again.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Excellent. Excellent.